Hi, my name is Annie Lichny, and I want to thank you so much for joining in for some meditation and mindfulness practices today. One of my favorite sayings in meditation circles that I've learned through years and years of practice that I think of a lot is we either have one problem or we have 1,000 problems. And I remind myself of this saying a lot because if we have one major issue, one major challenge or setback in our life, it really creates this focus and awareness and presence of this one challenge that we're facing in our life, whether it's our own health, somebody else's health that we're close to, some issue with a loved one, or some setback in our life, a major setback. It brings us into the present, it keeps us aware and focused, and it keeps us in our life. And it creates a container to keep us present and activated and really engaged in our life. When we have the good fortune to not have one of these major setbacks in our life, then we have 1,000 problems going through our mind all the time. And that's the nature of our mind, and certainly in our hectic lifestyles that we lead right now, is that we have these overthinking loops of problems that most of them we can't even control. There are things out of our control entirely, and yet we loop on them, and it creates an incredible amount of overthinking stress, emotional stress, and also physical stress. So we're going to work with understanding that separation today between the physical stress that we feel, the physical injuries that we may be working with, in addition to the emotional stress buildup the residue of the emotional overthinking that builds up in our system. So that's what we're going to be working with, the 1,000 problems that we constantly are ruminating on, and many of them we can just let them go because we can't control them anyway. So let's take a comfortable posture, and we're going to start with a breathing technique that I'd encourage us to breathe in and out of our nose for the whole rest of the practice together. And if it's comfortable for you to close your eyes, I encourage that. And this first practice just kind of brings us into reconnection to ourselves. We'll close our eyes down. And it's called box breathing. And we could imagine a box in front of us and do an outline of a square box in our imagination, or we can just use the rhythm and the pattern that we're going to create with this box type of a breath. And I encourage you to stay as focused as possible on the here and the now. And whatever it is that works for you to keep you focused and present, let's engage with that as we get started here. We're going to breathe in for about a count of 4. We're going to hold the breath for a count of 4. We're going to exhale for a count of 4 and hold the breath for a count of 4. And please, I encourage you to find your own rhythm that works for you. It might take a few cycles of breath to feel comfortable with this pattern, but the body will adapt to the pattern and create your own counted pattern. You don't have to use my 4 count. You can use what your body is telling you it needs right now. So with that, we'll get started and just kind of become comfortable with this breathing pattern. So we'll inhale, 2, 3, 4. Hold the breath, 2, 3, 4. Exhale, 2, 3, 4. Hold the breath, 2, 3, 4. Inhale, 2, 3, 4. Hold the breath, 2, 3, 4. Exhale, 2, 3, 4. Hold the breath, 2, 3, 4. Inhale, really feel the body on the inhale. Hold the breath. Try to relax as you hold the breath. Relax the body. Exhale, just relax even more on the exhale. Release. Hold the breath and relax on the holding of the breath. Inhale, see if your body is adapted to this pattern. Hold the breath. Exhale. Hold the breath. Inhale, you could imagine the box or you can use the counting. Hold the breath. Exhale, find what works for you to keep you here and present. Hold the breath. Inhale. Hold the breath. Exhale. Hold the breath. Inhale. We'll do a few more together. Hold the breath. Exhale. Hold the breath. Now I'm just going to cue you once here on the inhale and do a few cycles all on your own. Stay very, very present in the body. Inhale. Do one more cycle of breath in this pattern. And when you get to the end of the holding pattern on the exhale, release and just feel into the body. It takes a little getting used to, and then our body and our mind are in sync and find this pattern of whatever count worked for you. Just calming and soothing the body from deeply within. We hold on to our overthinking patterns in our body. And so we can release these overthinking patterned residues with techniques like this. Just release it, start to relax. Feel this tingling and energetic, bubbling kind of a sensation, a shimmery sensation in the body using this calming breathing technique. This is very good to help go to sleep at night, or if you're feeling anxious or overwhelmed, 5 minutes of this pattern will really calm everything down. And we can start to become familiar with these 1,000 problems that we have in our mind. And sometimes we are complaining about our bodies, the aches and pains, or the frustrations of our physical appearance in some way. We're pretty hard on ourselves in that regard. And so we overthink all of these problems about ourselves and about our environment and things outside of ourselves. And this overthinking residue can cause us to feel tight and stressed. And then we also have physical injuries and ailments, aches and pains in the body. And we can start to distinguish between the aches and pains and really work with them instead of complain about them in our mind. And understand the difference in our body between tightness because of stress versus tightness because of a physical injury. So we could start to explore, and we'll start with our feet. So we're going to bring all of our focus to our feet. And again, using that box breath technique, we might feel that there's this tingling aliveness. Maybe we could feel this tingling, bubbling kind of quality, this life force that's within us, and feel it through the soles of our feet, the arches, the heels, the balls of our feet, through the toes, through the tops of our feet. There's a lot of sensation we might be able to feel in our feet, or perhaps only parts of our feet. Just really bring our focus here. Start to pay attention in a deeper way, deeply within. We could actually bring all of our focus and imagine we're actually living within the feet. Wherever our focus goes, energy will also flow. Coming up through the ankles and into the lower legs and the knees. Feeling in the lower legs, feeling in the knees. Feeling the difference between how the lower legs feel compared to the knees. We will have different sensations, perhaps, in different parts of the body. And we might feel an openness, a tingling, alive quality through the calves and the shins. And then in our knees, we might be working with maybe some injury or ailment or discomfort in a joint, such as the knee. And so much of the time we're complaining and frustrated in our thinking mind about these injuries or this discomfort or aches and pains and joints. But what if we flipped that for today, for right now, and instead of the thinking mind creating more stress about any ailment, if we feel that there's discomfort in the knees or another joint in the body or another part of the body, we can just come up very closely and just meet the discomfort right where it is with our focus. Bring all of our focus to an ache and a pain perhaps in the knee right now. Feeling the difference between the left knee and the right knee. And if there is no discomfort in your knees, just really still browse through with your focus. Really feel the back of the knee, the front, the sides. Noticing coolness, heat, any tightness, any sensations at all. We might notice that when we bring our focus to a part of the body, it actually starts to soften and open that part of the body. Not always, but it most of the time does. And we could come up into the thighs, feeling the strength of our thighs. Our body parts even have distinguishing personalities, so to speak. They feel different. What's required of them is different than other body parts. So they have their own unique sensations, and we can explore this. Feeling through our seat. Again, if our thinking mind is trying to carry us into those thousands of problems, just come back to here and now. Bring all of our focus to our seat and the contact with the chair underneath us, and the weight of our bodies being held here. The force of gravity is a very kind and caring, energetic force here, holding us in the space of the room that we're in the neighborhood where we live, in our community. And here we are, just being held right here, right now. Right here, being held here in kindness, caring for ourselves from deeply within with the help of gravity. We could use our focus and come up our back, along our spine, our back rib cage, just really feeling our backside, our spine, rib cage in the back, the shoulder blades along our back. Feeling the space that's right behind our body. Just feeling again that different body parts have different personalities. We have incredible integrity and strength and poise along our spine, along our back. Really very slowly moving up your spine, feeling it bit by bit, all the way up between your shoulder blades, the back of the neck, bringing all of our focus to the integrity and strength along our back body. Feeling this aliveness. Again, feeling if there's any discomfort, can we come up and meet the discomfort? Hold it in kindness and care, in the felt sense of the body. If you feel discomfort somewhere along your back body, meet it with care. And notice that perhaps the sensations of that aching start to change and shift and move as we bring energy of kindness to it and become more familiar with the aches and the pains. We could move from our shoulders down our arms into our hands. And again, notice the difference between in the shoulders or elbows or hands, the difference between a physical ache and maybe an emotional burden is one way to think about it. We hold a lot of stressful overthinking in our shoulders. And notice the difference of how that might feel, the density or the tightness of that quality in comparison to a physical ailment or discomfort of ache of a joint or through our hands or our shoulders of some physical injury. So explore through the shoulders, down the arms, into the hands. Really plunge your focus, your awareness right here, right now. Notice the shifts and the changes of the sensations. And we could come up into the head, into the top of the head, the skull. We could notice maybe even a tingling right at the very top of the head, through the forehead. Notice a density or a tightness through the forehead or the temples, around the eyes and the jaw, perhaps even in the throat. Can we start to distinguish the difference between stressful buildup of tension and tightness and density versus a physical injury of some kind that creates an aching sensation, alerting our body alerting ourselves that there is a physical injury. There are two different types of sensations. Can we explore the difference and honor both? Not in the thinking mind, but in the felt sense that we are exploring here together right now. We can take a breath in and really feel that the breath is going all the way down to below the belly button, into the lowest part of the belly. Just breathe in, filling up the belly, and then releasing very slowly with gentleness and kindness to ourselves, releasing the air out on the exhale, flattening the belly button back toward the back body, flattening it all out, releasing all of the air out of the whole body. Take one more inhale, filling up, expanding the belly, releasing the air, exhaling, flattening everything out. When you think you've gotten to the bottom, just press more out, flatten everything out, releasing all of the air. Soothing, restoring, rebooting our system, and let the breath come to its natural rhythm. We can start to notice the difference between physical discomfort versus emotional discomfort, and understanding one problem versus 1,000 problems through meditation. And I hope you've been able to learn more about yourself today, so we can start to notice these things and take a step back and release the 1,000 problems and enjoy the moment. It's a privilege to be here with you. Thank you so very much.